The air hummed, thick with the promise of rain and the low thrum of an unseen music track. It was in this charged atmosphere that the collision occurred. 1 minute, the man was striding purposefully down the alley, the next, he was stumbling, arms windmilling as an unseen force knocked him off balance. A soft thump echoed against the damp brick walls as he fell. Music fades slightly, then resumes, a nearby bench erupted. A young woman, her heart-shaped face a mask of panic, scrambled to her father's side. "What happened? What happened?" she cried, her voice tight with fear. She knelt, her eyes wide, searching his face for signs of injury. "Dad! Dad, are you okay?" Her hands fluttered over him, then froze, realizing the question. "Honey, where does it hurt?" Her voice trembled. "Oh my God," she whispered, tears welling in her eyes. "You should go to the hospital." She looked him over frantically, her mind racing. "Does your head hurt?" she asked, touching his temple gently. "No, no," he replied, managing a weak smile despite the throbbing in his ankle. "Does your chest hurt?" she pressed, concern etched across her features. "No, no," he insisted, shifting slightly and wincing. "Does your stomach hurt?" she asked, her hands hovering near his midsection. "No, no," he said again, his gaze fixed downwards, towards his foot. "I have pain in my ankle," he admitted, craning his neck to look at the offending limb propped awkwardly beside him. The daughter's panic deepened. Oh no," she murmured, her hands starting to shake. "Wait, wait," a different voice piped up, cutting through her distress. It was the familiar, slightly eccentric face of the man from the nearby cart, known for his peculiar concoctions. "Don't you worry now," he said, bustling over, his small eyes gleaming with a peculiar sort of professional enthusiasm. "I can see this is a pickle, but it's not the end of the world." He puffed out his chest slightly. "Pause can help him. I have healing gas." "Gas?" The daughter's eyes widened further, if that was possible. But her father, always the optimist in strange situations, managed a weak nod. "Gas? Okay, maybe, if it helps." He gasped out, shifting his weight off the injured ankle. The vendor beamed, producing a small, glass vial from his apron pocket. "Just a little puff of this magic mist," he declared, uncorking it. A faint, almost unnoticeable scent drifted out, like ozone after a storm, mixed with something vaguely metallic. Suddenly, the man on the ground let out a sharp gasp, followed by a low groan. "Ouch," he muttered, wincing and pulling his foot slightly. "I'm sorry," the vendor said quickly, his hands flying to his mouth. That gas must have, well, it clearly didn't agree with the ankle right now. My mistake." The daughter looked frantically between her father, whose face had contorted slightly in renewed pain, and the apologetic vendor. No, wait," the vendor stammered, realizing his faux pas. "It's my mistake. My fault entirely." He started awkwardly patting his pockets, his eyes darting around. Mistake. It's just a reaction, maybe? It always does that sometimes, reacts unexpectedly. My mistake." He looked from the daughter's horrified expression to his own vial, then back again, confusion and panic warring on his face. "Are you okay?" he stammered towards the girl, his voice trembling slightly now. Are you okay?" he repeated, seeming to realize he was asking her, not her injured father. The daughter, her face pale and tight with fear, didn't answer his questions directly. Instead, her eyes remained fixed on her father, who was now grimacing, his hands protectively hovering near his ankle. Panic, cold and sharp, replaced the earlier confusion on her face. "I'm scared," she whispered, the words barely audible above the distant city sounds. Her gaze didn't leave her father, and the vendor's awkward apology hung unanswered in the damp air of the alley.